That's not included in the video. You guys know that. So we baste it up until where we want our zipper to end, and then regular 2.5 stitch length after that. We're gonna press this open, and again, I'm gonna kind of stay here and not go over and press it because I want to continue talking. And just like on the directions, we follow along, and we're gonna position the zipper. And make sure when you do this, you do position the zipper so that it's at the, the part where the number 5 stitching was. And you're gonna position it face down, remember, because when we're finished, we want the outside of our garment to be accessible to the zipper. So we always wanna make sure when we do this, we put our zipper face down. We're gonna center our zipper teeth over the seam itself. And we're going to take the right side, and we're just gonna baste a number 5 on our sewing machine. So we're gonna machine baste the right side of our zipper to the seam allowance. So not to the whole garment, just to the seam allowance. And again, really making sure that that's centered over the seam. If you did a 1/2 inch seam allowance, your zipper tape should match up with that end.
What's the name of the zipper? What's the name of the
zipper you know right now?
Yeah,
Lapped zipper.
Lapped.
L-A-P-P-E-D. In order to sew the zipper, remember we're going to have to switch to a zipper foot. And so again, you should have 2 different zipper feet, and they could go on the left or the right. And so I'm going to be sewing, I want my needle closest to the teeth right now, so I'm going to make sure that I use my zipper foot that puts that in the right position. So again, I'm going to number 5 baste, and you can backstitch. This basting won't come out. If it helps you to pin it, that's fine. Again, if you're getting close to the zipper pull, needle down, foot up, remember? And then you can move that zipper away from there. And always making sure that this is staying even with the edge of that fabric, the raw edge, or at least so that it's a 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're basted there. Then I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to stitch on the actual garment right here. You see how there's like a slight bit of fabric that's folded? I'm going to catch that, and I want to try and make sure it's even and really close to that, to the zipper teeth. The closer to the zipper teeth you are, the more you're going to hide. And this is a regular stitch, so 2.5. It's hard to remember, even I forget to go back sometimes, so just pay attention when you start to sew. If it's going really fast, it's a number 5 stitch. So again, as I get close to my zipper pull, I just want to needle down, foot up, pull it away. Be careful when you're doing this. You really want to make sure that you're not sewing to anything other than that one little fold. It shouldn't be bulky like a whole bunch of fabric. It should just be that one thing, and it shouldn't cross over into the seam, right? We're going to open that seam up. We need that seam to be accessible for the actual zipper to function. Okay, that's number 2. I'm going to close our zipper. We're going to open our fabric up to the correct side, and then we're going to hand baste. But this time, instead of it being a 1/4 inch like we did on the centered zipper on either side, it's going to be a 1/2 inch or so, a slight 1/2 inch. This is a shallow slight 1/2 inch. And you're gonna go on the side that you didn't sew on. So you're gonna start from where that number 2 stitching starts. So mine's about right here. And again, this is to mark where your top stitching is going to be, and you're going to sew through all layers. So you're sewing, hand sewing through the garment. You might even catch that seam allowance if it was a big seam allowance, the zipper tape, and make sure you do, when you do this, your zipper's closed, otherwise you're going to miss the zipper. And again, even, nice 1/2 inch. And when I grade your zipper samples or your skirt, I'm looking for, that you've done it all the steps correctly, and that you've paid attention to the measurements that are correct. Make sure when you get to the top here that you're also catching the zipper tape. Remember, that's temporary stitching, so you don't have to knot that or solidify that. And then you're going to go ahead and top stitch that with a regular 2 stitching length. You can open up your seam now if that helps also, which usually it does help because you're going to want to move your zipper pull when you get too close to it. And the reason we baste is not just to mark it, but also so if we want to open this up, that it's not, you know, everything's not going to fall apart, because if I didn't baste that all together, then nothing would be staying in place right now. Okay, so I'm going to start up at the top. Where you start is sort of up to you. Sometimes some people start at the bottom, some at the top. They say to start at the bottom. I'm not going to switch my zipper foot, so I'm going to start at the top. If I started at the bottom, I think I'd have to switch my zipper foot. I actually made it around that pull with this this amount of top stitching width depth, so I didn't actually even have to do move the pull. Again, be careful when you're going across if you want to walk it, and you know, just kind of make sure that when you end it, you do a few stitches to make sure that it doesn't pull out. And that is the lap zipper. Pretty easy. Make sure everything works. You can press it afterwards, and you can also remove this basting if you'd like. You don't have to remove the basting if you don't want to. I know when you've been basting or not, so don't worry about it if you don't want to see it. Sometimes if you sew over the basting, it can be a little bit difficult to get it out, but just, you know, cut around it. So that's the lap zipper. You just stop that.